Picture a map on a table, color pins over cities and islands. And each pin hides a secret, not just food or music, but how a place thinks about genitals. Area studies is usually about borders and books, but tonight we turn that map into a trail of stories about bodies, how people name, care for, and imagine their genitals across cultures. Ready? Walk with me. In a coastal town, elders teach children a dozen words for the same part, some tender, some joking, some forbidden. Language shapes desire. A soft word invites play. A harsh word builds shame. Move inland to a different valley, and the vocabulary flips. The same anatomy takes on new songs in lullabies and new taboos in law. Words are the first layer of culture's anatomy. Travel west to a clinic where a surgeon explains how medical names don't always match lived experience. The clitoris is not a shy dot. It's a complex structure with branches, a secret island of nerve. The penis varies in size, skin, sensitivity, and like any organ, it responds to care and confidence. Biology gives shapes, culture stitches meaning. That mismatch between anatomy and story is where curiosity lives. Cross the sea to a festival where carvings celebrate fertility. Halos and phallic symbols in public art tell an older, proud story of bodies that once owned us. Contrast that with a modern city where neon lights and hidden parties create private script. Public display, private desire, both teach us how societies handle visibility. In some places, rites mark the transition to adulthood. Ritual, song, a moment that says you are now seen as an adult with a body that matters. Elsewhere, policy steps in, laws about consent, mediclaiming festival age, and medical practice shape how genitals are protected or regulated. Area studies makes these links obvious. Law, ritual, medicine, and art all meet at the body. Think about health, vaccination campaigns, screening, access to care. In one region, a tiny clinic offers free education about pleasure as prevention. Yes, learning about how bodies feel can be a public health strap. In another, myths block simple practices, like hygiene or checkups. When we study places, we learn which stories make people safer and which stories make them afraid. Now, the most deliciously academic part, comparative curiosity. How do words for genitals rhyme with words for power? Which societies hide them in manifest, which weave them into festival? What can art from museums tell us about ancient attitudes toward intimacy? These are questions that pull you into libraries, into interviews, into lab studies of nerves and neurons, real science, human stories, and a little bit of mystery. So open a book from another country, listen to local songs, read medical diagrams alongside poetry. The map is full. Every pin is a lesson. Learn the names, learn the story, and you'll find that studying genitals across regions is not just anatomy. It's a passport to understanding desire, dignity, and the many ways humans live with the bodies they were given.